Welcome to Strenuous Life Radio, the podcast for leaderpreneurs, entrepreneurs, men and women, learn the essentials and the soft skills of the strenuous life. Thank you, JR. Alter ego JR Hendrick. He's the one that actually helped me come up with this episode 145, Fide, Economica. We're going to start with a real live person, and then I'm going to impersonate somebody that's a big figure in JR's life, his economics professor at Texas Tech. So here we go first. A professor at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, Dave Arnott.
The Christian Economist explains. This is economics. Hi, I'm Dave Arnott, the Christian Economist. In the beginning, God. Well, it says in Genesis 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. See, before that, there was no economics because there was nothing. God made something out of nothing. Our job is to make something out of something. This is what we do as economists. We take the resources that God created and we try to figure out, what did he intend? What does he want us to do with them? How do we use the resources in the world to create a better world for our neighbors? And that's the question that we answer in Christian economics. If God created all this stuff, we have to assume that he had some intention for it. He has an intention for your life and my life. How do we use our resources? And the one I've mentioned specifically is you. How do you use the capabilities and the competencies that God gave you to make the world better? That's what we study in Christian economics. A definition. Well, if you look up the definition of economics, it will say it's about the production and distribution of resources in a scarce environment. Our Christian definition doesn't vary from that very much. See, we do believe in scarcity, which I'll get to in just a moment here. But the definition is, how do we produce and how do we distribute goods in a fallen world in a way that makes life better for us and for our neighbors? So the definition has a number of concepts in it, which now we're going to get to. Everything, everywhere. Here's a little quote from a book called The Virtues of Capitalism by Austin Hill and Scott Ray. The very first line of the book says, "Can somebody name for me one area of our lives that has nothing to do with economics?" With that question, a hush fell upon the room. I've done this many times in class. The answer usually comes back, salvation. Salvation is unlimited. Okay, I'll take that. If salvation is because of God's love for us, then maybe we assume that love is unlimited. Maybe that's all. Do you realize that other than God's love for us, everything has economic impact? Every decision you make, everything you do, everything, everywhere. Let me go to a couple pages later in this book. His answer actually was, as a Christian, he said, I believe my eternal salvation has nothing to do with economics. We think that's the only answer. Everything else is limited. If it's limited, then we have to pay pretty close attention to how we distribute goods. Time is one of them. You can only do one thing at a time. I know.
Mr. Gallworthy, take it away. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give my viewers here. They say that salvation is unlimited, but economics is limited. Well, let's cover that. And we're talking about Fide Economica. I want to be fair. So we're going to go over to the book of Romans. Yeah, you guys knew I was going to go there. Beginning of verse 9, it says, "And if you declare with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, and if you believe with your heart that God raised him from the dead, then you will be saved. It is by believing with the heart that you are justified, and by making the declaration with your lips that you are saved. No doubt. But that's the starting of the process. There are similarities between salvation and economics. I told that to JR in his class the fall of 1994. And he looked at me like I have two heads. He looked at me like I had two heads. Because you see, in prep school he learned about Keynesian economics. I taught him that Keynesian economics is a failure. Yes, there is limited allocated resources. Why? Because we are fallen men. But I want to have a new perspective here, if you don't mind. Romans 10, 9 through 10, Douay-Rheims Bible. For if thou confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and believe in thy heart that God hath raised him up from the dead, thou shalt be saved. For with the heart we believe unto justice, but with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. See, believing is more than just, I just believe, and it's not active. Salvation and economics have that in common. It's active. Now, I agree with David Arnott for the most part about economics. There is some limited resources. But it is really in the best interest of human beings to look at what are the best resources. Thank you so much, Mr. Gallworthy. I really appreciate what you have to say. I realize this is a lot. There is some scriptural theory of economics by David Arnott and John David Galworthy. There are some similarities. But I think faith-based economics, it's just my perspective, being a Latter-day Saint. Listen to me, and listen to me carefully. We had economics planned before the earth. We had economics planned before the earth. And so that's why it's important that you learn more about it. Hope that you've enjoyed listening to Empower Your Strenuous Life Radio. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the Strenuous Life family. This is J.R. Hendricks saying until next time. Like my daddy always said, you live strong. You think strong, you live strong. And live the strenuous life. God bless you. Y'all take care now, you hear?